Hello, dear viewers, itsdiff fans, itsdiff Academy fans. It's a great pleasure and honor to be with you again after a little bit of a gap here. And now we have again wanted to extend a warm welcome to our friend and supporter and a guide, I would also say, Mr. Prabhu Venkatesh Subramanian on our show as well. Welcome, Prabhu. It's a
Thank,
pleasure
thank
to
you, Sri.
welcome you again. Yeah, Prabhu, we should continue the trend. It's been like about a month gap due to various reasons we know. Okay.
Yeah. I had to travel, and we had a lot of break in between. I
Yeah.
know we did a lot of other shows, but I think our series we have a break, and now we are restarting it again.
Yeah.
So with full bang. So
Correct. Correct. So
it's very interesting that we both concluded and chose a new topic, which is maybe familiar to a lot of people, but it's called customer service
yeah.
insights. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about customer service insights, as you can see here, and essentially because what I was always thinking is in this situation, the COVID-19. I mean, we all pray for the vaccine to come in sooner and then bring some relief to the entire world, human community and the community, right? But at this time, we are doing all our best to maintain the social distance and keep up with the do's and don'ts. For example, to stay safe, healthy, and continue our job. The companies wanted to increase their revenue, they wanted to reduce their cost and try to be efficient. And one of the key things that they're all focusing on is how do I continue to maintain the customer satisfaction? How do I uh, make sure that the customer who is a loyal customer for me continues to be a loyal customer amongst the tough times here? And how, as a company, whether it is especially a startup company or a medium to small to medium company, whatever it is, or even a large company, they have to constantly win over their customers for repeat business and ensure in this competitive market, right, in this world of substitutes, in this disruptive economy, in this we need to be well versed with understanding your market, understanding your customers, understanding the various nuances that's happening. So one of the top things is your product might be of great quality, but ultimately, if you do not win over your customer, then it's going to be very difficult to succeed. So we thought, between me and Prabhu and myself, to put it correctly, that we wanted to touch on briefly and talk to you all about and share what we think are things that are happening. So, Prabhu, why don't you kickstart on customer insights? Maybe we'll just talk about customer service, customer support, and then we'll go about it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Sri. So when we talk about customer service, so the question arises whether you start doing it post the sale of the product or the service you are offering. In my perspective, it starts from the stage the a future customer starts engaging with you, like right at the stage of him being the prospect. So if you don't take care of his experience or his engagement with you properly, he's not going to become a customer eventually, and then post his signing up with you as a customer, then he you take care of him, and it is not a reactive thing which you are doing. It is something which you start engaging with him right at the front, and you can today this customer service can be provided over the phone, in person, or it could be provided over chatting, or it could be provided various means of however the customer is trying to contact. In the today's world, it can be even through social media. So that the customer goes out of the door happy with a great experience. So it is something which you can provide. It's an experience which you can provide to the customer uh, prior and after he purchases your product or service. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
totally.
my definition of a
Yeah.
customer service.
So I think what you generally referred to as like the omni-channel, as the terminology indicates, right?
Yeah,
And the other thing is multi-channel. Like basically, the difference is omni-channel is super integrated. Like the website, then the chat, right there, and of course the phone call, as you said, the direct, or people visit the store or the place where, like a brick and mortar stuff, whatnot, or online ordering, any manner they touch. A customer experience is something what sustains and brings the brand loyalty, and at the same time wins gets the referral business. So one of the interesting thing that Prabhu, I heard is the fact, um, prospect, right, which is the lead to the customer, and the post becoming a customer experience, which gets the referral business. So it's a goodwill, right? You get it. So you don't spend that much money in your marketing dollars. So that's they bring a bunch of customers to you. So totally, you're right. So
yeah,
I mean, the journey of the customer journey is important. So as a small organization, or small and medium business, or a startup business, whatever, they need to think about, how do I expect a customer journey to be like? So the best thing, Prabhu, to your point, is one has to put themselves in the customer's shoes and say, how easy am I making this for my customer to transact with me? Say, you might have seen some of our discussions before. It's a part of customer value creation and customer value capture. That is, how are you making it easier for the customer to interact with you? And by more and more customers coming in, what is the value capture from an organization point of view for you, right?
yeah.
And that's very true. Okay, so it's important. We all agree. Okay, so what's happening? So right now people are finding new ways of interacting with customers and making sure customer can still be their customer, not
Correct.
not the competitor's customer.
Yeah, that is very important. So always when you talked about what is the dollar investment you make to make the prospect to a customer and sustain them. So always people are worried about their top line and also to make it more economical. So how do you make sure your customer acquisition is the cost is not becoming huge? One way, there are various different ways. One way is to dig deep by engaging with the customer and understand is what is the ethos that will strike well with the customer. Be polite to them, understand, have a very good listening capability. What are all the problems that your product or service would satisfy and make their business successful, rather than just pushing our product and be done with it. A continuous engagement, and this will get a good referral, as you mentioned, and this will keep increasing the value you provide to the customer, and also increase the dollar value which they are going to give you in terms of new orders, an additional scope for the existing projects you might do, or when they open up new divisions, new geographies, you will be the go-to person, or your product will be the go-to product which they are going to buy, and you will be listed as one of the topmost supplier, and that goes on. So it is a continuous engagement, and you have to have that empathy and the attachment to the customer, and it's a relationship building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally right. Your relationship building is good. Now, I'm glad you mentioned about the cost, Prabhu, because I heard it's about 40% more it's costing to the company to there's called retention of the customer, right? So you better have to keep them, retain them by doing taking care of a good customer satisfaction score. You should get a good score. So that means you need to care at every point in time. So once when they become a customer, like I've seen companies doing service and say, how did you find at the time of purchasing? Did you find everything okay at the store those days? Now, did you find everything okay when you were looking online, when you were searching online, when you were shopping online? Did you find it okay when you talk to somebody? Some people still prefer to call folks on the phone, or even the chat. If you see when they do the chat as part of the omni-channel stuff, and they wanted to learn from the experience on how did they find the product, how would the service agent was able to serve the customer. And then the last part is basically the post. It's like a post operative care. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Post
yes.
surgical care is super important, equivalent to the surgery. So here, like, how did you find? They have some questions, clarifications, and other things. It need not be returns, need not be some cancellations. It could be anything for that matter. That could win over more customers. So more customers. That's very, very important. The goodwill, the word of mouth matters a lot. And then so make it easier to transact with them, and that's important. So it's kind of funny, right? I remember a very good saying, right? I think this was said by Maya Angelou, right? People will forget what you said. People will forget what you do, or what you did. People will never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah,
He came in different versions of it, but I like the way how you make them feel. People always will remember. So that question is that shows the true nature of this. And the second part is I read in one of the books as an example. They said a customer was super not happy, and they were just raising in his high tone, high voice, and things like that. And one of the guys said, "I'm so sorry that I don't work in this department, but it looks like you are not very happy. I'm so sorry. I apologize for what has happened. We would like to take care of you, right?" And yeah, I remember this. I read in Rewire. There's a book from by J Kumar Hariharan. So
hmm,
wonderful book about some of the interesting thing from a leadership perspective. Anyway, uh, so the thing is, then immediately the customer said, "That's all I want. I want somebody to just say sorry for what has happened," and then that person immediately calmed down. So
that's
that's
right.
the thing. They never forget how you made them feel.
That's
Yeah.
right. So another interesting perspective, Shri, is talk about some numbers. So uh, there is another study which reports that 86% of people or the customers quit their engagement with a company or a product company or a service company if there is a poor customer service or they are treated badly.
Mm.
So that is a very alarming number. So which people who are in this space are providing these kind of touch points to customers, especially right now with all this pandemic. Your most of the interaction is over the phone or through your company's website or through social media or through chats and other
Mm.
means, and that I think is going to become a typical trend in most delivery points because we have to make sure we keep or arrest these numbers in the businesses or services any of us or any of our friends are involved in, and share this thought process with them. And we have ourselves experience, whether it's a phone company or an internet service provider or even a healthcare provider. They immediately send out survey or as you mentioned, or even on the phone, there is an automated system which tells you to select if you are ask you to rate the customer service agents response to you and whether your problem was solved. And most of these calls are being recorded, and they always say, hey, we use it for our internal training purposes. And some of them, they take it very seriously, and the employees performance appraisal is dependent on what kind of customer service feedback they get from the customers, and how the customers have given a very good score, or and they have made successful impression with the
Sure, sure.
customers.
It's like
And
a KPI.
even this is very popular even in the industries like share ride companies like Uber or Lyft. They most of the time when you travel, they request you to provide a
Right.
service.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned a good point, Prabhu, on the phone call, right? Actually, I went through some stats there. They mentioned about 30 to 40% people were annoyed by the call on hold. The second thing is they put on music, and then the other 30% where people you get transferred. You're on for like 30 minutes. You are on hold, and then somebody comes in and then say, "Yeah, we'll just transfer it to somebody else," and then you got to repeat the whole thing over again to the other person. There's no systematic way to take the data to the other department where they are, and so while this is there, so people are collecting data. It's all business analytics. Now actually they are putting artificial intelligence AI in the mix to understand and learn from this data from an analytical standpoint. Statistic modeling and everything is happening, statistics. So the other aspect here is now I like, especially in this pandemic situation, people are I was in a support call where you go to a website and then you just say, call me during this time. I love that. I used to wait for 45 minutes to get to a person. But here, if he doesn't go to any person now, he just immediately, the first thing they say is, please go to our website and then tell what time you prefer us to call. Then they give a window and they promptly call. And this is a new thing. I've not seen this before. But there are other companies where when you call and then they say, if you think that we should call you, please let us know and we will call you right back. And they don't give you a time. So there are different ways people are trying from a best customer experience perspective. And I like the experience where, suppose you could not pick the call, they call within 5 minutes. That's a beauty. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh my God, I lost it, right? Some reason phone never picked, rang, and then things like that. So those are the things where customers are really, I mean, some organizations are really improving the efficiency and trying their best to find out various ways to get in touch with the customer and make sure they are comfortable, because people are spending long hours these days to get to the agents. And so these are some of the things which is very helpful.
Yeah, great, Sri. I think you touched upon some of the future trends that are creeping into the customer service industry. You talked about data analytics. You talked about how people have a callback service. So this is going to be more and more like prominent, like with the mobile and smartphone usage. So there are going to be companies which are going to make their customer service more app based, so that you will be able to troubleshoot most of these yourself and get to a stage you call the customer support only when there is a real danger or a real problem, you're not able to fix it. And also right now what is the touch point is you have to provide this 24/7. So I might be in the West Coast, especially, and the company might be based in East Coast, and there is a high chance that I might miss their window. And so a lot of times they use chatbots very actively. So that this artificial intelligence comes in more prevalently right now, and it has a logic by which most of these scenarios have been fed in, or and what we this is the question, this is the answer, and it kind of personalizes based on your profile and what type of product you have bought, and it gives the most of the answers. And another trend which is becoming more and more popular is the voice based support. So if you have a facility wherein you have a search facility using voice, and a lot of
Mhm.
times we are mobile, we are driving, or we are at a place far away from our home, so you don't have a facility of using your laptop or internet, so you need a voice-based search or voice-based facility. And with all the Alexa and other products being available, so they're trying to integrate those kind of products in the customer service industry. I have some friends who are in that space who have told me very interesting stories how this is helping them. And people can get in touch with you via video conference. That is another way you can guide them, or take them step by step.
Mhm. Okay.
And one more very futuristic, really futuristic trend is AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality, wherein the person wears something similar to Google Lens, and he is able to go step by step, like how a remote person is guiding what to do by wearing those lens, and he suddenly gets all those things visible on the screen, on the lens.
Sure. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I would like to touch on that. Like, so this is very good to know about the latest technology support, the augmentation of various tools that is being, put into the field, right? So, one thing I want to touch on is the analytics data, where you collect data, whatever you do, collect enough data, and then just do the analysis, leverage AI's expertise there, and then find out the trend in the customer journey. What are all the various touch points with the customer, where you think the customer satisfaction is low, where it can be improved, right? Like it's right from a lead prospect to the actual customer to post customer, to touch in various places, understand and see the trend as to the week over week trend, month over month trend, the quarterly trends, and etc. And then see, are we in a positive, right? Going up, or it's a downward trend, or negative, whatever. I think you can smartly use the data to understand the customer behavior pattern and our operational excellence. How do we get towards our operational excellence? Is learn from this data, change the methods that you have adopted, or refine your methods, and then again test, right? Test and validate, and then go full blown. Because a lot of things, especially if you are global, you need to look into a cultural aspect of this also, Prabhu. Because
yeah,
what works here in North America does not work in Asia, in Asia Pacific, right, or in Europe or any other place. So you got to also think about their customers. They love your product. There is a brand loyalty. They refer you. So those are the key aspects. Is use smart data collection, analyze the data, learn from it, tweak and refine. Okay. So having said that, right? Having said that, one question I wanted to talk about before we finish, okay, which is what's happening right now with everything in the lockdown situation. Slowly things are opening up. In some parts of the world, it's all opened up, but some places it's going back to lockdown, right? You heard in, right, uh,
yeah,
in Europe, right? And so the question is, I mean, we want everything to be sorted, solved, and we get the vaccine soon so that we all get back to a normalcy. But it looks like it's going to take some time. So with all positive note, the question here is, how do you get the customer to visit the store, or let's say let it be a restaurant, let it be the grocery shopping, or at a smaller scale there, or electronics, or any other place. How do you make it interesting, safe, at the same time ensure a greater customer satisfaction, because you don't want longer lines. There are people waiting to get into the store because there's only limited number of people allowed in the store. So you got to set the right expectation with the customer on what to expect.
Yeah.
So you need to communicate with the customer. So that way, all your email marketing, your email communication, and various omni-channel methods of getting in touch with the customer, provide them the way on how they can interact with you in multiple ways. That way, they don't find this easier, and they can still get a lot of things done without even visiting to the store, which is what people like to do, right? So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Yeah, very interesting. You brought up that point. Here, what to expect is a very, very important or the key point. Here, from the customer service perspective, the customers could be the real the people who brought your product or service, or sometimes your customer could be people from your own company or new employees who are joining your companies. They are like the customers of the HR department. So I've known one situation where in the past we have had a we were into developing augmented reality videos. So we developed one piece of video for a very big international HR customer, HR services company, where they wanted to make the onboarding of their employees very interesting and very comfortable, so that they don't get lost in a very big environment or a very big campus. So what used to happen was there won't be any individual people whom they might meet, or people might be busy. So they wanted us to do a walkthrough video of how the building will look like once you arrive at the reception. How do you get to the space where you will be working? Where are the individual departments located, and who are the people? So complete AR walkthrough video. So it brings back the point of what to expect when you arrive there and who to meet and everything, instead of like lines and lines of notes or very big booklet explaining this. You have a visual a type of experience, or a self-guided tour. So where the person is able to self-service. So that is another key
Good point.
access point that is coming back, or that is a new trend. So most of the time, the customer is very happy when he's not getting a physical person helping. As long as the instructions are very detailed, it is a self-service based support.
Yeah.
He knows that he can get to the point where he can service himself, and if there is still additional thing, then he can get into the advanced level support.
Yeah, I think that is pretty good, because this means it's going to cost money to the company to think in providing the self-service mechanism for the customer, like you said, like augmented reality, or all this new technology tools, but also the ability to get those infrastructure set up, get those employees trained, right? So that's super important these days. Training the employees on setting the right expectations with the customer when they visit the store, or while talking on the phone or during the chat. It's the brand name which is important. You are talking on behalf of the company. Remember, your language is important, right? Messaging is super important in the chat messages, right? The phone, again, customer might be upset, but the person on the phone or the chat or in person, whatnot, they need to keep their cool. They cannot so that's something actually psychologically they said about the escalation management. How do you train your employees to handle the escalation? That's super important, and especially in this turn, because a lot of people are a little more sensitive than normal because of the various things. Everybody is still not fully adapted to the situation that's happening right now. We are still learning every day. We are still learning to cope up with the happenings as the day unfolds. And we pray the Almighty for the best support, then continue the well-being, and as human beings helping each other. There are so many stories that we hear in the press, right? So we got to be a little bit patient, because patient is is a little bit, people are a little impatient in some cases, right? So we have to adjust and accommodate each of them. So from an employee perspective, from an employer perspective, there are a lot of things that they need to think about. It's going to cost them more. So why I keep saying cost them more? How are you going to recover that cost? You are looking at your overheads. You're going to cut down your overheads, but now you need to some way charge back, because a lot of people lost money, right? Companies lost money. So that's the thing I wanted to ask you about. Maybe one of the important thing is, restaurant, they're super beaten up because people are not coming and dining in, but now they are opening it outside, and then, like, say, you can open 40% and things like that. We hear a lot of stories in the news and stuff. So the question is, how are they going to cope up? They need to really, well, expenses are increasing, the profit is dwindling, right? And the customer foot traffic or whatever is also reduced. And then you are looking for new ways, that is investments. So you got to charge this somewhere to make sure your balance sheet is good. What are your thoughts on that, Prabhu?
Yeah, I think a lot of new things are happening. Like if you see a lot of restaurants or grocery stores, the foot traffic has considerably reduced, and this is going to stay for more time. And this because right now people have got used to this kind of a culture. They will want more and more improvements and more and more service in the way the touch points occur. So I see more and more grocery companies or restaurants getting into a centralized type of manufacturing, but the distribution happens through channels like Uber Eat or
I see.
other distribution mechanisms, and that is those type of things the whole business. And another very interesting thing is the curbside as well as the your grocery stores. So which the people are going to drive by, and the system need to be able to alert that the customer is right now at the front of the store, and the delivery can happen with very less touch point, and they take their product and go back. So here, one more thing that comes up is what is the difference between customer service and customer support, which is more often confused. I see that there is a lot of difference. So customer support is more specific to a product, more transactional item, whereas customer service is an experience which encompasses customer support and whole lot of other things, and it's a feeling, or it's more relationship based. And another new point that is
Family
coming
setup.
up is
They are
yeah,
part of our family setup, and they are like, they love the brand loyalty is
yeah.
guaranteed with a great service. And then okay.
And a lot of times, some of the brands which have been around for quite some time, they have the bragging rights. Hey, we are customer servicing customers since 1921, or like where they were more family-owned businesses. Now they have grown to very big corporate. So if they have survived various onslaughts and various other changes that have happened in the market, they have remained in the market because of that their service to the customers. And another new term that is getting very popular and that is going to stay for more is customer success. Okay, you are giving this customer surveys and customer support and all that. So how it is transforming the customer and how they are able to see that transformation happening in their business problem being addressed. So customer success management is the key thing, which is a subject by itself that is going to
Sure.
change big time. So
Good.
those are
Yeah.
my points.
No, no, this is good actually. So you talked about customer service, customer support, and customer success. In fact, there are companies, Prabhu, where there is a customer success team. In fact,
Yes.
the whole responsibility is to ensure that we retain the customers, right, and be efficient. So anyway, we are almost getting to our finishing stage. So what we talked in the last 30 minutes or so is basically about how to retain our customers, how customer service is super important. What are the various ways in which you can make sure customer finds it easier to interact with you? The customer can find you in first place. The
Yes.
customer can be supported in whatever way
Yes.
manner through omni channels, various type of integrated channel mechanisms using data and AI tools and technologies and methodologies you can do. And you brought up the fact that we have the advanced technology systems, right? The
Yes.
oculars, right? You mentioned. So those are all the great things. And one has to constantly get the feeler, get the feedback through customer satisfaction surveys. They're not going to go anywhere. You need to hear them. And also, they need to feel that they are heard. And you take action. You show that you take action. And one last thing, Prabhu, is I've seen people doing town halls, kind of ask me anything kind of questions. I've seen the smaller companies, they are trying something new and then they conduct these town hall meetings and then say, hey, you have any questions? Come on in. We are having a town hall session. We'll talk about how we can help and things like that. There are some technology companies which are trying in the startup world. But of course, I know big companies have figured out because they have various ways to get to make the customer feel that they are elite customers, etc. Right?
Yes.
Any final thoughts from you, Prabhu?
Yeah. So the key elements here is to make this customer engagement successful is how do you bring this customer service culture within your team and your employees. So it is a continuous training. So your employees should be knowledgeable about your product and service, and those are the type of people you want to be the ambassadors who are
Yes.
talking with a nice positive attitude. So key element is a positive attitude, empathy, and what you are conveying to the customer. Even though, as you mentioned, the customer can be angry, but sometimes the customer can be wrong also. But how do you handle that situation?
Sure.
How do you handle surprises? And there will be a lot of situations where there won't be documented situations and what are the answers, how to handle that. You might get a new situation,
Yeah.
and you might be able to
Sure.
solve, and you become a successful person who, if you handle it the right way, and that might win back the confidence of the customer, and your journey continues with them successfully.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to say is that the escalation management. You train your employees to handle the escalation, and our life, our company revolves around the customers, customer first. So we got to take care of a smooth customer journey, right from the lead to prospect to the customer, and then a post customer service, so that we get the referral business. So it's a cycle. And also every company is looking towards minimizing the cost of retention and maximizing the throughput. So that has to show. So by data you can do that as well. So this is very, very good. We can talk more about it, but I thought it will be good to revive this with a very, very good topic that we are all interested. So thanks, Prabhu, for your time. So I wanted
Yes.
to let people know about our podcasting. So I'm just putting it here. So it is itsdiff. You can check it in iTunes. You can check it in Apple Podcast or Google Podcast. so you can or basically subscribe to it. It's free, and then you can see all our 20 episodes that we have done since April, so you can check it
May.
out. We have also had Harvard professors here, and of course our friend Prabhu and myself have done a couple of them. We also bring authors and entrepreneurs and the CEO and executive coach. There's a lot of things that we have planned. At least we wanted to keep this momentum on our itsdiff Academy and itsdiff Entertainment. So in this case, to continue our journey of learning and sharing and caring. So that's all is itsdiff News, Views, and Music.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So check us itsdiff, itsdiff, as you can see in the screen. Check it out, and then you can connect with us at gmail.com in case if you wanted to be hosted. And here is the email for us, itsdiff at gmail.com. So you can get in touch with us as well. And there you go. Okay. So here it is. And talk to you soon. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. Thank you, Prabhu, for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.